Hello everybody, my name is Zen and welcome back to day 3 of learning map making in Intruder with Unity. So last episode we rebuilt our barn here and we added a door. We learned grid snapping with real-time CSG. We replaced our spawns and we also learned how to cut out pieces with CSG using the subtraction tool. So we were able to get the inside of this barn as well as the roof here, which I was really happy about using the subtraction tool. So that was super cool. Now, a big problem with last episode was this staircase here. I still have not solved this problem. I have been doing some research trying to find out how to fix this, but I don't know how. I think we're just going to have to play around with it a bit more to try to figure out what's going on and why. When we set one of these pieces to transparent, it's like creating this weird clip subtraction view. I'm not sure why it's doing that. So we'll play around with that a little more. Maybe we have to play with the subtraction here. Maybe that's the solution. We'll see. So today, let's take a look at what our goals are. I have updated our little goal task list here for today. So today I would like to add windows and learn how to use the subtraction tool a little bit more and add some windows. That should be the easiest thing to do, hopefully. Then what will be kind of useful for us to learn is how to add briefcases, capture points, and hack nodes so we can actually make a playable map. Once we get those 3 things figured out, we will test the gameplay and make sure that that is functioning. Once we have that figured out, then we know, okay, we can start probably building our first map. Now, I've also put it as optional here, solving the staircase transparency issue. I'm probably going to leave this till last because obviously this is probably going to be a frustration issue for me. So leaving it till last will allow me to tackle it and still have made some progress with some other things first. Yeah, I have asked in the Discord community about this issue, and I haven't got a response back because I just sent the message. And everyone could be working or busy, so we'll see if we get a response there. But hopefully, they've actually been really helpful in a lot of ways so far. So that's been really awesome. So thank you to the Discord community for the map making inside of the Intruder Discord. And then, yeah, this is what we completed. So I'm just going to keep tallying up. This is going to get longer and longer. I'm going to put the most recently completed on the top here. So I think we added a door less. We rebuilt the house with grid snapping with real-time CSG. We learned real-time CSG. And yeah, this is what we did first map. I think we should actually do this episode by episode, which would be kind of useful. Episode 1 and episode 2. Add door, rebuild house with grid snapping, grid snapping, real-time CSG, and build stairs. Also useful. Okay. So, and then we'll see what we do for episode 3. See what we complete today. All right. So let's just build this out a little bit more. This is like what we're using a Microsoft Notepad here. Okay. So first things first, let's figure out how to use the subtraction tool and add some windows. So to use the subtraction tool, we are going to need to generate, I believe, a box. And we're going to make a window here. How big do we want our window to be? We don't need it to be that big, but we'll do a big window on the front just for fun. Now, we want to use the subtraction tool. So we're going to go like this. Whoa. Does that just subtract? Yo, no way. I didn't even need a subtraction tool. Holy crap, that's so fast. Wow, we just learned how to make our first window. Okay, crazy. Let's do that again. You just got to push it in. Is that what you got to do? Just got to push it in? Oh, whoa, you make a tunnel? Dude, this is wild. This tool is so crazy. Okay, so I made a mistake here. We need to actually like raise this a little bit. So let's do that. Okay, Command Z, there we go. Okay, Command Z, which is not completely working the way I'd hoped it would. So now we'll go here and then we'll push this in by 1. Nice. We'll grab this generation, push this in. Oops, we gotta get a better angle on that. Look at that, 2 windows already inside the building. Looks awesome. We'll do another little window here for fun. Complete our first building. Okay, awesome. Okay, so this, I kind of would like to have a pillar here. Question is, can we make one easily enough? Looks like we can. Okay, cool. The real-time CSG is actually pretty amazing for like how quickly you can make cutouts and builds, like blockouts. Like this is amazing. Okay, now that's not what I want to do. Is this going to cut out? Okay, now it's not cutting out. So I've encountered a new problem here. Whoa, crazy. Okay, so if we do this, and then we just push this in, it should cut out. There we go. Okay, we cut out. How does that look from outside? Looks kind of silly, not gonna lie. Ah, it's functional. Functional? Yeah, what if we just did one more cutout? We're not really... The aesthetics here is something we can figure out later. This is just learning how to use this right now. That looks ridiculous, but whatever. Let's go to place mode. Let's move over here. That looks... I don't like the look of that. I'm gonna put this back. Whoa. Okay, here we go. Sometimes it's a little tricky to get this right. Okay, we'll put that back. We'll color that after. Leave that mesh there for now. So one thing I'm curious about is when we create like multiple meshes like this. So obviously we have like, oops, remove that. We also obviously have this mesh right here. This is a mesh. This is a mesh. There's multiple meshes. And now this one's like cut in there. Every time you create a mesh, I wonder if it causes more like computation, like it requires more demand out of the machine, so the less meshes the better. I'm gonna guess that's how it works. I don't know, maybe it's like a marginal issue and not that big of a deal. I am not completely sure, but okay, we're just gonna work on adding 2 windows to the front here. We don't need to add windows around the whole building. This probably isn't going to be a playable map, this one here. We're just kind of using this as a demo playground. So now let's go to our assets and see if we can find a window. I have no idea where that would be. So we got Text Mesh Pro, sprites. This is probably not in here. I'm sure shaders. I have no idea how that works. Fonts. I just want to explore that. Okay, so that's not where the windows are going to be. They're probably going to be in Intruder MM. Probably going to be prefabs. Let's have a look here. Okay, glass proxy. Let's see if we drag this in. Okay, we got this glass here. Okay, cool. So we want the glass to be like right in the middle here. And this is currently scaling on like 1 meter at a time. So let's do a 0.5 on the scaling, and that should come right middle. Ah, perfect. Now it's on the one side here. Not a big deal. I'm not gonna like get too fussy about it. Let's see if we can scale it though. This is edit. Oh boy, not what I wanted to do. So edit, can we edit can we edit this? Can we like drag it along? Or is this like glass? Not easy to edit. We have place, generate. No, we don't want you generate. Probably we need edit, but I don't know if we can actually drag this glass and make it bigger. I'm not sure how to do that. This is our problem now. Okay, Windows. So what we need to do is learn how to stretch this glass. And I'm not sure how to do that. Okay. Ignore hidden surfaces. I might check out the Intruder. There's like one good Intruder tutorial that goes over everything, but it's not super thorough. So it's all of this, most of this stuff we're just kind of like, I think most of the community is just learning off the fly and then communicating through like verbal text for solving problems. This community could really use a very in-depth tutorial guide on how to build maps in Intruder, because man, like we need it. Okay, so I can move this around. That's good. How do I edit it? Edge. Can I hit edge? Does that do anything? No, it doesn't do anything. Move this up and down. Nope, don't want to do that. So what if I use a different tool? What about a scale tool? Oh, okay. Well, this is functional. You know, the thing is, okay, now this isn't ideal. I'm going to say this is not ideal, but what I could do is move this. This is still grid snapping. I could just clip this through, edit, nope, scale tool. I could just clip this through the two pieces. Not ideal at all, but it would work. This is still moving on 0.5. No, this is still moving. Weirdly enough, this is still moving on like 1 meter at a time, and I don't know why. It shouldn't be. The question is, am I using real-time CSG when I move this, or am I using the Unity placement tool to move this? I can't quite tell. Let's do Control F3 to turn that real-time CSG off. Grid snap, wait, you know what? Let's go to File, Settings. No, Edit, Settings, Grid and Snap Settings. Let's go scale to 0.5. And then try moving this. Oh, that doesn't do it either. Settings, or Edit, Grid and Snap Settings. So that did not fix the problem. And then this, weirdly enough, when we have real-time CSG on, we actually are at a scale of 0.5, so it should be scaling that way. Let's go to 0.2, just see if it makes a difference. Probably not. Nope, I don't know why. So I think, okay, how I understand this so far is that objects created with real-time CSG scale on the real-time CSG, like, I don't know, framework, we'll say. And then objects that are not built in real-time CSG scale on the Unity framework, which is the base Unity framework. This is how I understand it so far. But even when we change the base Unity framework, wait if I toggle off grid snapping. Oh, here we go. Okay, that fixed it. We had grid snapping on. That might have been the problem. Like, let's scale. Let's scale this window. Okay, there we go. And then we'll move this over. Okay, cool. All right. So if I hold D and then just grab this, no, that doesn't work. Weird. But if I have this selected and I hold D, wait, no, I'd be in place mode. Hold on. If I'm in place mode here and I hold D, no. But if I'm in place mode here and I hold D, that moves out. Okay, good to know. Delete that. All right. So from what I understand, prefabs do not conform to the real-time CSG framework. They are on their own framework, or basically on like Unity's framework. So you are switching between using Unity's tools and using real-time CSG tools, and they're both separate. So can I copy paste? Yeah, I can copy paste this at the very least. So that works. Now, is this the optimal way to put in glass? Definitely not. But it is like a way to put in glass, and we can scale this. Where's our scale tool? This is scale tool? Yeah. Wait a minute. Whoa. What's going on? There we go. Okay. Bring that there. Bring this over here a bit. Is that... Okay, we can probably move this over. Just make it a little bit bigger, and then we'll move this over a bit. Move it over a bit more. Okay, so how this works, the glass right now. How do I deselect? Okay, so how this works right now is the glass is here. It's functioning. It's not the best way to place glass, but for the most part, I think we'll be using glass this way anyway, kind of like clipping it through the environment. The glass has a thickness of what appears to be 0.2 or 0.1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, glass has a thickness of 0.1, as far as I can tell. And that should work. And we should be able to shoot and break the glass. So let's test that, see if that works. Let's save first. Intruder, placing an intruder. Sometimes you just have to work with what's functional. You don't have to always have the perfect, process or flow. I'm starting to learn that now. Okay, looks like the glass is here. Can we break this? We can. Still looks good. Glass breaks how it should. Cool. Let's fire a bullet through it. 3 bullets. Okay, looks good. Okay, so we figured out Windows. Was it the optimal way? No, but does it work? Yes. Sweet. All right, exit to main. So we got our windows. So we've added windows. That's complete. Now, the one thing I would like to add is like a bugs section. Because things I haven't learned, I want to solve bugs. How to grid snap windows. How to grid snap windows. Fix ramp. Fix transparent ramp stairs bug. I'm going to do bugs / issues because some of these aren't going to be issues. Or some of these aren't going to be bugs, just issues we have to deal with. Bugs / issues. Okay. These are things that we want to fix at some point here. We should get like a better document for writing this stuff down just to make it a little easier. We'll go like that. There we go. Today's goals. Make this look all nice and fancy. Nice documentation. Okay. Completed. All right. Okay, so completed. Add windows. We did it. We can get rid of this one. Okay, now we're going to work on our objectives. Our goals are briefcase, capture points, hack nodes, and then testing that. So let's work on briefcases and capture points first and make sure that we can get that working. So we're going to add a briefcase into the center of this building, and we need to figure out how to do that. That should probably be in prefabs, which is where we're in right now. Either prefabs or scenes, perhaps? Sniper. Oh, there's a demo scene. Okay, cool. I don't know how scenes work inside of Unity. Sniper range, race, demo. I don't want to open those. Sniper range, reflection point, cool. Race, light map, demo. Light map. Maybe demo scenes are basically like our libraries or our zoos. We should learn how to do that. So let's actually add that. Future plans, test demo scenes, or learn how demo scenes work. Okay, put that there. All right. So we're still looking for that briefcase. Where would that be? Resources? Nope. Scripts. Wow, there's a lot of scripts. Holy cow. Anti-balloon zone. Interesting. Anti-C4 jump zone. Wow. Game volume. There's a lot of scripts. Locked object monoscript. Okay, we have a lot of stuff to work with. Shaders, standard assets. Oh, skyboxes, textures, Sunny 2. Cool. There's skyboxes. That's all there is in standard assets. You know, speaking of standard assets, so I've been talking to the community, and I'll give Banana credit for informing me on this, but and he's got a great map, by the way. Side tangent. Banana just created this map called Void Side. I played it yesterday, or the day before yesterday. Amazing map. Like, I was completely floored and impressed by like how detailed and intricate it was. He's a really good map maker. If you want to check out a new map to play, go check out Void Side. Very cool map. But he told us that basically the intruder assets, the standard intruder assets that you would see inside of the official maps are not available for map makers. I don't know why. I have no idea why. It sounds like, from what we were talking about, it sounds like they were trying to protect their intellectual property, and they had an issue with when they did release them before, people were selling them on the marketplace. So that is probably why they are not freely available for people to use for the community, which is understandable. I understand that. It would be nice if we had a standard set of assets to use as map makers, so that we could have, like, you know, a visually cohesive map making standard or system that could be in place. Unfortunately, that's likely not going to be coming from the official Intruder developers. So that might be something the community has to create. But that would be nice, like, you know, like barrels and boxes and railings and things you could just use. But Unity has plenty of assets, or so I'm told, and that's how most people make their maps. But yeah, it would be nice to have a standard set that we could just use, that we could, could recognize as this is Intruder. Okay, let's find gizmos. Okay, so we have Saber CSG, gizmos, button, cone. Wow. Seems like Saber CSG has a lot of useful tools. We might want to explore using Saber CSG later. Textures, nice. This is strangely inside of Saber CSG. I don't know why. Add-ons. Okay. Shooter MM models. Okay, medkit, hack node. Okay, so this looks like it might be what we need later. Here's our briefcase. Okay, great. Let's put this briefcase here. Now, does this briefcase function without a script? I don't know. I don't know if we can even pick it up. I'm going to guess it doesn't. Shooter MM, animations, models. Okay, we're going to, since this is here, we're going to pop the hack node here. We're going to pop 2 hack nodes here. We're going to add the briefcase. And we need to find where is the extraction point. Plugins, Steam, prefabs, flag. Okay, so maybe it has something to do with flag. Maybe. Materials? No. Prefabs, custom items. What is this? Custom item 2 is just not properly labeled what custom items are. Wait, what does it say here? Drop off icon, keyboard, key card, blue icon. I don't know what any of these are. Okay, so we're gonna leave those alone. Proxy, mirror, cool. Briefcase, oh, here we go. Briefcase proxy, prefab asset. So this might be a different thing. Okay, now this, wow, interesting. Okay, this looks like what we're looking for. Now, for some reason, it does not wanna move around. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna test this. Briefcase proxy might be what we need. What is this? Random gun pickup, random item pickup, equipment manager, spawn A, spawn B, win proxy. Okay, so hack node proxy. This might also be what we need. So we're going to grab the hack node proxy. Okay, these look like actually what we need. These might just be dummies. Like these 3 might be dummy assets, and these ones might be the actual scripted ones. Now, I'm not sure how these are going to work, but at least now we have some start of where we're going. Intruder MM, target. Okay, we got, maybe it's something in target. Was target? No, default asset, target setup. I don't know what target is. I was thinking that maybe target is where we put the goal point. Here we go. Goal point proxy. Okay, I think this is what we need. Okay, this is our goal point for what should be the briefcase proxy. So it is pointing to the briefcase proxy. So that's good news. What happens if we add a second goal point here? This also points to that briefcase. Interesting. Okay, so it looks like this works. Question is, do these hack nodes also work? Hack node name A1. This one's also named A1. Hack time 3. Play default hack sounds. Let's see what happens when we hack and what happens when we do the suitcase. So let's give this a test. Let's save first and play scene in Intruder to see what happens. I'm excited. I hope this is very easy. I hope this is like straightforward and we don't have to do anything complex. Join guards. Okay, so I think we need to be the intruder in order to actually make this work. I joined the wrong team. Hold on, switch teams. There we go. We need to be an intruder. Guards win. How did guards win? Literally, we just switched teams. Okay, we're in the intruder. Let's go get inside. Warning, this room has console cheats turned on by the admin. I don't remember turning the console cheats on. My ping is 0 milliseconds. That's like the greatest ping of all time. Greatest ping right there. Okay, so these are proxy. Now, I can't actually select these ones. What happens here? Can I pick this up? I can pick up the suitcase. What happens if I go over here? Okay, so capture package, super easy to set up. That works. Fantastic. The hack nodes, though, we need to figure out how the hack nodes work, and that we have not figured out. But capture package, problem solved. So actually, I'm going to bring this over here. We have added briefcases and capture points. We're going to add this to completed. So we have add briefcase, add capture points, and now we need to add hack nodes and test those. Okay, so let's see if we can mess around with those hack nodes over here. Oh, now the door is locked. Of course it is. Okay, let's get inside. All right, so this is a hack node. I don't see a prompt to actually turn on the computer. So we have to do something else to get this working. And this guy, we can't pick up either. So these, for sure, are dummy assets. These two were proxies, but they weren't working for whatever reason. So not sure why. Let's exit domain and start trying to figure out what's going on. We'll bring this over here. Okay, so capture points, great. What I would like to also test out is adding another package here and see what happens if I go to that direction. Okay, so this guy we can delete. Same with these two. Now, maybe the reason why this isn't working is because these are highlighted in red. So maybe we need to do something. Hack node proxy script. Hack event, list is empty. Add component, untagged, prefab, so overrides. I don't know what win proxy does. Maybe it blows you over or something. Equipment manager, prefab asset, briefcase proxy. We're going to add this second briefcase proxy. Look at that. It just ties right to both. So it should work. No problem. I think briefcases are more or less solved here. We're just going to bring this one over here. Oh, wait, that's up in the air. Oh, God. What do we do? Oh, no. How do we get back? Right click. Okay, there we go. This guy's just floating up in the air. We're gonna bring him down. Bring him over here. This one. Bring him over here. There we go. Okay, we can leave those alone. That's the briefcase test. Okay, briefcase test should be working. Now, hack node proxies. I am not sure how to work that. Hack node proxy prefab asset. So this is, let's see what this is. Oh, this is a ton of them. Okay, let's not bring that in right now. That is like a ton of them. Holy cow. Hack node proxy. Heligun proxy. Interesting. Keypad. Locked object. Motor proxy. Mover parent. Note proxy. All right. Pickup. Random gun. Random item pickup. Remote motor. Security setup. Sliding door. Cool. I don't know why that was starting to load. That's weird. Ladder. Okay, great. We should also learn ladder. Also important. Learn how demo scenes work. Optional. Future plans. Learn how to learn ladders. Let's do that, ladders. And I think we'll learn ladders. We're not going to mess around with lockers and stuff now. We'll mess around with that stuff later, like how to put like weapons in lockers and lock them behind stuff. So we have a couple custom doors. Target, proxy, mirror. Oh yeah, let's add mirrors. Mirrors sounds cool. Mirrors is very cool. Not really super useful, but just kind of fun for decorating. Okay, tons of stuff in here. Banana, binoculars, balloon cam, binoculars. So if I just bring this in, I can't. I don't know how that works. I thought I could just drop them in somewhere. We'll have to learn how item proxies work later. Flag. Nope, materials. Okay. So it looks like prefabs are where most of the stuff is. Runtime. I don't know what any of this stuff does. Plugins, material models. Okay, we got the briefcase models. These were the dummy models. Images, animations, scripts. No, shaders. Okay, so from what I can understand so far, everything we need should be in prefabs. We've got these nodes, and this should actually be the node proxy that we need to work with. I don't know what a proxy is either. I should Google what that does. It's not working though, and I don't know how to set it up. So maybe I'm going to look at a tutorial to figure out how do we set up a hack, so we can get that working, so we know how to create that gameplay mode. Okay, now I don't know for sure, but it's possible that there could be a limitation with having both suitcases and network hacks in the same level. Maybe they conflict with each other. So just to make this simple, I'm going to get rid of these for now because we have learned how to use those. They work. We're just going to focus on network hacking for now. I doubt there is a conflict because Mountainside obviously has hacks and briefcases, but just want to rule out any other possible errors while we try to troubleshoot how to make this work. Okay, so I learned something new about proxies. So I have good and bad news. The good news is I learned a new thing about proxies and how to spawn proxies. There is this spawn proxy button down here. The bad news is I still don't know exactly how the hack nodes work. The video tutorial that is basically the only video tutorial on how to do this did not cover hack nodes. It just said how to spawn proxies. So I think in the future, we actually don't want to spawn them this way. That we were doing the method of dragging and dropping them in, that might not be the way we want to go about this. Instead, what we want to do is click the spawn proxy button, go to game mode, raid, or hack, and then create, I guess maybe create game mode. I don't know, or let's try hack node. So here's the hack node. Is this going to work right off the hop? I don't know. Is this clipping? Hold on. I think it's above. All right. Does that put it on the floor? It might. We'll just put it above for now so we know we can click it. Now, I'm going to say maybe we need to try to create a game mode here. Whoa, okay. Whoa, okay, now we have a problem. Okay, Command Z works so weird in like undo button does not always work the way you want it to. Let's go with game mode, hack, create game mode. This is, for some reason, interesting. I don't know how this is going to work. Let's have a look. I don't know what is happening over here. All right, whatever. This is hack mode proxy hub A, B, C, and D. Okay, cool. I'm guessing we can just remove these hubs one at a time. Hack node proxy, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Don't know how this works. I can move these individually. Can I reach them as an intruder? Let's find out. Let's test the map and just see what happens. Play scene in intruder. We're slowly figuring this out bit by bit. So he did show creating the game mode. He just didn't show like how that works. Like he talked more about package rather than hack nodes. And it's good to know how to do both. Okay, this is locked again. I should just like make sure the store is always unlocked. I think there's a way to do that. Okay, here we go. All right, look at this. Okay, they all spawn in correctly. Oh, great. We can hack. Okay, let's hack one of these computers and see what happens. It'll probably go green, which is what we need to happen. I love that the model is there and like the asset, like the textures are already there. That's great. Okay, it goes green. Oh, it hacks the whole hub. I see. Okay, so these are all linked. These are all linked and these are all linked. Okay, so let's hack all of these. It's going to take a second because we're here. And once we do that, it should say that intruders have 1. So maybe this is a lot easier than I thought. And then it just comes down to placing each asset where we want to place them. And just removing the ones that we don't want if we want to have only like a few computers in a certain area rather than like, 4 on each point. And if we want to add more, I suppose it would have to do with the hierarchy system, which I need to learn a little bit better. So I should actually learn, oh, look, hack 3 computer systems. Okay, cool. So there's probably a way to configure that. That was a win condition. We won. Okay, huge. All right, so that works. Let's take a look at this machine and see how this works. So we have hack mode proxy. Complete goal, 3. So this is probably the amount we need to hack. Hub proxies 4 element. Okay, let's see. For complete goal, let's do 1 and test this. And if we change that value, it should tell us if we only need to select 1 to work. Placing intruder. Just want to make sure that we understand how hack nodes work before we continue. Okay, join intruders. Now let's run over to our building. We should also modify the door so we don't have to unlock it every time. I think it's at random whether the door's locked or not. Okay. Here we go. Get this open. Okay, so we should only have to hack 1 row of these, and then we should have the win condition based on the goal we set there. Looks like it's working so far. Okay, it worked. That's the win condition. Okay, great. So that does work. Awesome. That's great. That's just fantastic news. Okay, so we can exit to main. We go back here. So this is our hack mode proxy. This complete goal is how many computers you have to hack before the win condition is reached. Now, do we need to really mess with this more? Probably not. We know it works now. So the only thing we could learn is how to add more computers into a certain area. And that's probably has to do with this hierarchy system here. So we have hack node proxy. Let's see. These are all connected. So let's see what happens when we move hub. These ones. Let's move 4, 5, 6, 7 into hub A. Children of a prefab instance cannot be deleted or moved, and components cannot be reordered. You can open the prefab in prefab mode to restructure the prefab asset itself, or unpack the prefab instance to remove its prefab connection. Okay, this seems really complicated. I literally read that and I still have no idea what the heck that just said. So I'm going to leave that alone. In terms of adding hack node proxies to hub A, I don't know how to do that. I can paste 4 in here. Hold on. Oh, hold on. Maybe this is that. Okay, we're going to put these 2 here, see what happens. Let's try hacking 4 and 5, and it should light up that whole row. Somehow that may have worked. And then also what we want to do is add another hub. So let's add hub. We'll call this hub E. Rename hub E. And we're going to move this over here. And we're going to hack hub E to test this. And we're going to hack hub A with these new computers we use and see what happens. Hopefully this works. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. Go to intruder and play scene in intruder. So the reason we're doing this is just to test, can we add more computers to a hub? And how easily can we do that? And it still works. And then can we add another hub in case we want to have like 5 hackable systems instead of 4? How easy is it to adjust that? And then we know how to create win conditions. Okay, the door was just magically open that time. Okay, so these are the additional computers we added to hub A. If we hack this, does it hack all of hub A is the question. We're going to find out. Oh, it does. Look at that. Ready 1. I think it is. I think we're good. I think we're good. So this is how you add individual computers to a single hub. We just figured that out. Okay, we hacked 1 computer system. I forgot to change the win condition. That was a mistake. Whoops. Now this looks weird. Something happened here. Okay, so exit to main. I don't think we did this correctly. So we're going to delete these. Delete. Nope, that was a mistake. Okay. Delete that one. Delete that one. Delete that one. Okay, so hub E, for some reason, does not work. Let's try command VP. That does not work. So to add additional computers to the hack mode proxy, I don't understand how that works. We'll change the win condition back to 3. I don't understand how to add another hub. So that is something we will have to figure out down the road. Right now, we are going to just leave it as is. We understand the basics of removing and adding single proxies to a node or a hub. Adding single nodes to a hub, but we do not know how to add another hub to the hack mode yet. There's probably a way to do this. Okay, let's see. If we command copy paste, let's have a look here. So the difference between these are all blue, highlighted in blue. So if we can somehow figure out how to highlight these in blue, maybe we can solve this problem. Hack hub proc. What's the difference between these two? This one is blue. This one is not blue. Okay. I mean, I could obviously just change the color to blue, but I don't know if that's actually gonna. I think that's a label. I don't think that's magically going to make them work. We should also move these over here. So this is our new test hub, which we want to get working. We're going to rename this to E hubby, and we're going to call this 16, 17, 18, and 19. This is important. So the reason why we want to figure this out is let's say you want to make a map like Phil's Tower, and he has 8 hackable hubs. Being able to have that many hubs is really useful if you want to have game modes like that. And I would love to figure out how to do that, because we might want to do that in the future. Now the issue is, what did these have inside? These have a hack node mesh and a hack node side mesh. Okay, so it's just a mesh. I can't see if there's a script in here or not, and or where that script would be. I don't know how that works. Same thing here. These have their meshes. They're just not hooked up, and I don't know how to hook them up. I don't know where the script would be. If I go back to assets here, if I click something, this is not, it doesn't tell me what assets are being used in this like area. Static. This says a check mark. Does this have a check mark? It does have a check mark. Tag is untagged. The only thing that changes here when I switch between the two is the position on the XYZ scale. I don't see anything else swap. Hack complete activator. List is empty. Okay, what about the difference between this and this one? It's the same. From what I can tell. It's just the number changes. Okay. So when we delete a hub, like, can we delete this? So when you delete it, it says cannot restructure prefab instance. Children of a prefab instance. So I'm guessing this is a prefab instance hack mode proxy. Cannot be deleted or moved. Okay. And components cannot be reordered. I don't know what components are. Maybe that's like, maybe these are considered components. You can open the prefab in prefab mode. I don't know how to open prefab mode. I don't know where I would find prefab mode, but this looks like we need to figure out how to open the prefab in prefab mode to restructure the prefab asset itself or unpack the prefab instance to remove its prefab connection. So we need to figure out how to open prefab mode. Do a quick Google search, how to open prefab mode in Unity. You can use any of the following quick methods. From the project window asset, double click the prefab asset file. From the hierarchy window instance, click the small red arrow located next to the prefab's instance name. Alternatively, select the prefab and press P on your keyboard. Okay, so if we double click this, that does not. Oh, but here, what about this arrow? Open prefab asset. Whoa, what's going on here? Okay, wow, that's huge. Okay, I don't know if that is what we need. Okay, hack mode proxy, mesh, side mesh. It doesn't. I'm not seeing any scripts in here. I would imagine there'd be a script in here or something that I just need to connect. I'm not sure, so that might not be it. Select children, prefab, open asset and context. Select asset. What? Maybe open asset and context. No, that's what we just had earlier. So let's go back. All right, prefab. Unpack completely. I don't know what that does. That might. I don't see a pack option, so I don't know if I want to do that. These don't seem related. Prefabricated. How does this work? From the hierarchy window instance, click the small right arrow. Okay, so the small right arrow seems to be the only thing that takes us where we need to maybe go. But I'm not seeing any, like... Oh, look at this. This is actually interesting information. So these are the two computers we added earlier, and they somehow work. And these are the ones we added, but they are not being highlighted here. These ones are, which is interesting. Even though E... Oh, look at this. E is not in here. Ah, so maybe this is where we actually need to do the editing and not inside of where we were before. So let's take out E here, delete that. And let's also take out these two nodes. Now, let's go into our hack mode proxy here in the prefab editor, which I believe this is the prefab editor. Maybe we'll solve this problem. We're going to collapse hub A, B, C, and D, and we're going to take D, we're going to copy and paste it, and we're going to rename it as hub E, because this was not existing in here before. Now we're going to take hub E, and we're going to move hub E here, and look at that. It's all highlighted. So this might actually be a solution to our problem. We're going to take the hack goal, and we're going to set it to 2, just to make this a little speedier. Okay. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at hub A, and we're going to duplicate one of the hack node proxies inside of here, and we're going to move it all the way over here to append it. It's also highlighted. Very interesting. We're going to take the hack time and set it to 2, and we're going to take, yeah, we're going to work with that. And so now let's leave the hack mode proxy editor. And now what we want to do is we want to test this computer here to make sure that it works with this row. And we want to test this row here to make sure it works with this whole group. Now, to complete the goal, we should only need 2 full hacks. So that'll be this computer here and then one of these computers here. And hopefully this actually works. And if it does, I think we just solved how to use the prefab editor and finish building these objectives. I am very excited. Okay, let's place in an intruder. Okay, we'll join as the intruder. We really should. I keep forgetting about that door. We have to unlock it almost every time, but we'll get there. I don't know why that Alt Z NVIDIA overlay shows up on my computer. I should get rid of that. I don't know how to prevent that from showing up. It's kind of annoying. Okay. All right, door's unlocked. Okay, so if this worked out correctly, now it doesn't look like it did, but if it did, let's try this computer first. Is it connected to these ones? Okay, so good news is this seems to be the correct way to add a, yes, it works. This seems to be the correct way to add an additional machine to a hub. Now over here, these are not working. So something did not work in that edit system that we just tried. So we're going to give this another go and hopefully figure out how to add this. So let's go back to hack mode proxy and go into the prefab editor. And then we have hub E. So hub E, for whatever reason, is just not working. Now, maybe it's because we have them enabled at 12, 13, 14, 15. Maybe this should be 13, 14, 15. We can rename it. But you know, the problem that seemed to happen here is that even though we duplicated this, it didn't actually duplicate the texture for some reason. I don't know why. So let's delete that. And then we can also delete this guy here. We don't need him anymore. How do we duplicate hubs? How do we get another hub inside of here? Let's add this again. Let's try this one more time. We're going to rename this E. Hub E. Now we'll rename these just in case this is in fact the issue. We'll go from 16, rename to 17, Rename 18. Now this is probably not the issue, but we'll just rule it out just in case it is. Sometimes programs can be really finicky and it can be something like you didn't expect, like a semicolon or something like that. This is actually just causing the problem. Okay, so we renamed how to be. How does this differ? Position. Hack hub proxy preferences. Whoa, what's this do? Scene configuration. Lines alpha, line width, objects to enable. Preferences. Okay. Well, I don't know if this is what we need. It doesn't look like it. We have a hack goal. Between these two, there's nothing that changes outside of the position. I'm not sure how to add an additional hub to a hack node. This might be something we need to ask inside of the Discord server to be able to understand how this works. So far, from our own troubleshooting efforts, we have not been able to understand how that works yet. So that may be included in a future episode. So what we're going to add here is a bugs issues. Learn how to add an additional hub to hack mode proxy. Increase number of hackable stations. Okay, so we'll add that there. That is going to be a future bug issue we will probably be solving or trying to solve, because when we come back here and we test this, it doesn't seem to work very well. Okay, let's go to this door. And there is a way to modify the door. Layer. I'm not sure where. We might have to go into the door here. Frame door. Door settings. Show door preview. Lock state. Here we go. Can be lock picked. Yeah. Unlocked. I'm going to make sure that both are unlocked. There we go. And then it should always be unlocked. Okay, great. We'll save that. Let's just go have a quick look in here. Just it's probably not going to work. What we're also going to do is, because we're just making this easier for testing, we're just going to move the spawn over here now. Makes it easier to just get inside right away. We're going to do save, and we're going to open this up, the scene open in Intruder. Okay. Join as Intruder. Let's just break that window for fun. Okay, this should be unlocked. It is. Great. It looks like we have the same issue here with the mesh and not being a hackable node. So I don't know how to add hubs yet. If anybody knows how to add hubs and you're watching this video, it'd be really appreciated if you're able to throw that in the comments below, just in case anyone else is happening to be looking for that same solution to that problem. But hopefully I will be able to find out the solution to that problem later on in a future episode. So let's take a look at what we have accomplished. This is actually a great still for the what do you want to call it? The thumbnail. Okay, so let's go take a look at our goals. Okay, we added hack nodes. This is completed. Yay, we learned how to do it, and we learned how to make it work. So that is huge. We added hack nodes, and we have tested gameplay. So we know the win conditions work. We know how to make them. We have basically solved all of the major issues for today, except the issue of adding additional hubs and solving our staircase problem. Now, I would really like to solve the staircase problem, and I'm going to take another shot at it today, even though I have not received any input yet. Okay, so I got a response back from the community after all. Thank you to them. Okay, I'm going to read this out. This is what they said to me about this staircase issue. Okay, CSG can get confused when you layer additive brushes directly on top of each other like that. So this is, I'm guessing, layer additive brushes. This is a CSG, so is this. You can avoid it in the case of ramps by just having your ramp clipping in a different CSG object. I don't understand what he means by that. That also makes it easier to tag it as ignore bullet and everything. I do remember that ignore bullet being an important aspect of doing this invisible thing. I believe Saber CSG also includes a dedicated clipping brush somewhere that you could use instead of a transparent material. since that can cause some weirdness. It might be listed in the material select. It's been a while, so I forget. Okay, so this could be a reason for us to learn how to use Saber CSG. Banana said you could also use a Unity cube instead of a CSG. I had thought of this before actually trying to attempt this issue. Thank you. We'll try this. So use a Unity cube instead of a CSG with a mesh renderer disabled and an object tagger with ignore bullet. I don't know what an object tagger is yet. Both of those are components. Mesh render is added and enabled by default, but you would need to search for the object tagger in the component menu. Okay, so I don't know what that means, but we're going to try to figure this out. Okay, so what I understood is this is a possible solution. I was thinking about this before we started today too, as a possible way to solve this issue, going into game object, 3D object, and adding a cube. Now this cube, if I can figure out how in the world we're going to actually make this work, is a different story. But if I go to edit, can I edit this cube? I cannot. Not with CSG. Maybe with Pro Builder I could. I might be able to do it with Pro Builder. Let's do how in the world are we going to do Pro Builder again? I think cube. There's a way to do this. I think we need the Pro Builder tool. Tools, Pro Builder window. Okay, we need to open this window up here. And then this guy we need to Pro Builderize, if I remember correctly. Then we get this window and we Pro Builderize that cube. I don't know if this is what we want to do. Okay, and then Pro Builder, we should be able to drag this down like so. Okay, great. It just doesn't snap, which is a problem. But we don't need to really worry about that. That's fine. Maybe we can get this to work first issue. So we need to scale this. We need to bring this up a bit. That's scaled a little bit too much. This just needs to clip so it actually works. Like no one's gonna see this. So I'm not super worried if like it's not perfect. Let's get down here. Okay, so we want to try to get the scale as nice as possible here. And oops, that's a mistake. There we go. Okay, let's move this over. Move this down. Over. Okay, that should honestly work. Okay, now I'm gonna select these. We want to go to real-time CSG, select these cubes and get rid of them. Now this ramp is as a test. We're going to also scale this once again, get it to be the size of the actual staircase we need here. Move it over. So this is made with Pro Builder and with Unity game object 3D object. So we're using Pro Builder to make the ramp, but this is initially a cube. Probably not the best way to do this, but it is a way to do this. I would like to scale this so it doesn't get like weird in the game. We don't need to actually do that. We're just kind of like messing around here, but that's close enough. That's close enough that it should work. Okay, great. Now let's take a look. Is there a lip here? Yeah, it should be fine. Let's move it over just so it doesn't clip. Okay, so these clip a little bit here. Whoa, what's going on? Oh wait, we have real-time CSG on, that's why. Okay, turn that off. By the way, if you want to turn on and off real-time CSG, all you got to do is press Control F3, and that will return on and off. Okay, so this is not working. Move this back a bit. There we go. Okay, that clips a little bit, but that's fine. Looks pretty good. We're getting a little bit too fancy with it. Hopefully that doesn't have any hiccups. There's that gap there. It's kind of annoying. I don't know how to perfectly get this right. Hopefully this doesn't become an issue. We'll test moving over it and see what happens. Okay, we got the ramp here. Great. So what we need to do is turn off the mesh render. Perfect. It should still have collision. The question is, how do we also turn off the how do we also turn off ignore bullet? And there should be a way to do that. Test Discord. Nope. Ignore bullet. I don't know where that would be. This is cube. We're going to name this transparent ramp. Cast shadows, receive shadows, light, anchor override, motion detectors, dynamic occlusion, box collider. No. Pro builder, mesh filter. Maybe what they said in the add component menu, mesh render is added and enabled by default, but you need to search for the object tagger. Add component, object tagger. Object tagger. Steep slope, no. Oh, slope. Object layer list. I don't know if I need slope or not. It says slope script. Okay. Ignore bullet. There we go. Object layer list, ignore bullet. I think that should work. Okay, I think we figured that out. Okay. Let's try that. We're going to save. We're going to Intruder, and we're going to play scene in Intruder. And hopefully this works. Okay, join intruders. Okay, here we go. The ramp is here. It's invisible, and it should work when we go up it. No, it does not. Okay, so here's the problem. This is acting as a box in Pro Builder. It is not acting as a ramp. So we halfway solved the problem, sort of, not completely. We're going to give that another shot. Exit domain. Okay, so where are we here? Transparent ramp. This does not work. That does not work. So we're going to delete that. We're going to give this a shot, not with Pro Builder, but we're going to try this with real-time CSG again. See if we can make this work by creating our own staircase or ramp here. We're going to go do this. We're going to go, actually that's wrong. We want to go from here. No, we want to do from 0.1, I think. With a scale of 0.1, we should be able to start right from here, which is where we want to start. Right from here? Yeah, okay. Good enough. We're going to go to the top here. Great. Now we're going to take the edit and we're going to come down like so. Okay, now we're going to move this over. So let's go to the move, go to the place. This comes over here. Okay, now we're going to go up. Okay, that doesn't work the way we had hoped. Okay, we're going to take edit and we're going to go this way. There we go. Okay, cool. And then let's bring this. Nope. We need this guy. There. Okay, so let's see if this works with real-time CSG instead. It's not a big deal. That's there we go. Okay. Let's see if this works. What we need to do is now make this transparent, and we might be able to do that, but we might not. We're going to go back and we're going to throw on a transparent texture here. See, when we do that, it actually totally messes it up. Okay, so this triangle is not perfect. It's also got this lip here. Bummer enough. Why did that happen? Okay. So when we select this, CSGs work differently than Unity objects. You says you could use a Unity cube. So maybe if we add component and we add object tagger, maybe this works if we add it as a slope and then ignore bullet, maybe. And then we add the transparent layer. That also doesn't work. Okay, that's really frustrating. Okay, whoa, what happened there? Okay, I think we fixed the lip there. Question is so these things get funky when you start adding transparency. But we need, okay, what are the other options here? CSG can get confused when you layer additive brushes. So I'm guessing this is layer additive. Directly on top of each other like that. You can avoid it in the case of ramps by just having your ramp clipping in a different CSG object. Okay, clipping in a different CSG object. So I'm not sure what he means exactly by that, but this brush, and what if we like take it out of the model here? Can we take this brush out of the model? Oh, maybe that clips. Hold on, maybe that was the problem. Okay, and then we add the transparency. Oh my God, that's it. Oh, that's so easy. Okay, so it had to do with hierarchy once again. We're gonna move this up a bit here. We're gonna move this up just so we can get the transparency on the wall. Here we go. Transparency here. Okay, so now this should work no problem. We've also added the bullet issue. The stairs should work. Oh my God. I gotta give credit where credit is due. Let's see. Where is streamer mode inside of Discord? That would be credit to Madman Epic and Bra Turtle or Banana for helping us solve this problem. Thank you guys so much. Literally just saved our buns. Okay, I think this works, but before we really for sure, let's confirm that it works. Placing an intruder. Okay, I think that is how we are able to solve the issue. So you can still use the CSG, it looks like. Okay, not seeing an issue, at least with the game bug. Can we go up the ramp? Oh, we can. Look at that. It works. Oh, we solved it. Oh my God. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so we now have a working ramp, working stairs. Now let's try it with the gun, see what happens. It looks like it's ignoring. Oh, no, it's not ignoring. Look, when you use bullets, they are floating on the ramp. So ignore bullet is not working yet. We need to fix this yet now. Wow, that's loud. Okay, so as you can see, the bullets are not ignoring the ramp. They are hitting the stairs. They're not hitting the stairs. They should be hitting the stairs, and they're not. We need to make it pass through the ramp. So let's exit to main. We're almost there. We're almost there. Okay, here we go. So let's take a look at this thing. Object layer list. We've added ignore bullet. Is there another ignore bullet? Stairs? What about that? If we object take stairs? I don't know if that's going to make a difference or not. We could try it. I doubt it's going to make, it's just a tag. Object tagger. Remove component, move up. Maybe the layering has an issue. Let's try that. Let's move that up. Sometimes a hierarchy thing, this could have nothing to do with it, hierarchy, but maybe it does. Placing an intruder, let's try it again. Give it a shot. Go back into intruder spawn. Okay. Now we are over here and okay, so it's still not working. Bummer. All right, exit to main. So this isn't like a huge issue. It's just more of a like quality of life thing. Like obviously some people would notice this, some people will never notice. No one may ever actually fire any bullets at the stairs, and if they do, they're probably not going to be looking very closely. I'm not super worried about it. It just would be nice to know actually how to fix this. Object tagger, we can just move this below. It doesn't really matter. Object tagger script. Okay, so ignore bullet. Let's see what they said. you could use a Unity cube and an object tagger with ignore bullet. So we did use an object tagger with ignore bullet. Both of those are components. Mesh render is added and enabled by default, but you need to search for the object tagger in the add component menu. Okay, it also makes it easier to tag it as ignore bullet and everything. So what if we added another component like mesh render? No. Mesh renderer. Oh, maybe it's this. Hold on. Mesh renderer. What if we turn this off? Then what happens? Let's see what happens. Maybe we had to turn off mesh renderer. I have a feeling that might be the solution. I didn't know about the add component menu. I didn't even know that worked. I didn't know how to actually use that. So maybe it needed to become a component first before we do that. Maybe not. We're going to find out right here. And it did not. Okay, bummer. Okay, so talked with the community a little bit more. I'm not entirely sure how this ignore bullet thing works. I tried applying it to this set of stairs, which was what I was suggested to do, but that didn't seem to work, so I'm just going to remove that. I just remove, delete. How do I delete component? Is there a way to edit script? Nope. Add component. How do you delete a component? Reset. Oh, no. Remove. There, remove component. Okay. So this brush, for some reason, it does not work. The bullet passing through. Someone said that it's recommended you just use cubes for those things. I could just actually rotate a cube, actually, now that I think about it. I didn't even think about that earlier. Hold on, that might be doable. CSG isn't great at getting tagged. Okay, hold on. That might be the solution to the problem. Hold on. Okay, we're going to try this one more way. So we know this cube works. We're going to move this over for a second. I'm going to move this puppy over. And we're going to try doing this again once more with, instead of real-time CSG, we're going to use a game object, 3D object cube. Now I have an idea. If we can rotate this guy to the correct angle, what we can do, yeah, there we go. What we can do is we can just like make this a really thin ramp. We don't really need to go crazy. So if we scale this down like so, scale like this, and then we're going to move it over. This might not work, but it might. If we can just add transparency and the bullet pass through, this might work without a problem. So we just got to get this, we just got to line this up right, and it should be no issue at all. Okay, so that looks pretty good. We're going to need to scale down just a bit more. Where is our scaler? Okay, scale this just a bit more. And then we're going to take this, move it over here. I don't know if this is the best method to do this. It might not be. But at the very least, it might be a method, and it might work great, better than we think. So hopefully it works. Okay, that's overhanging a little bit. Let's scale down just a smidge. Move it over. That's pretty good. Okay. That's pretty good. We'll move this back just a bit, try to get the lip right on there. Okay, good. So now what we want to do with this guy is we're gonna make this mesh render like that. That we don't even need to apply a transparency. And then all we need to do is add component object tagger and then do ignore bullet. This might be way easier too. Let's test and see if you can actually move up the slope. We're going to save, and we're going to start Intruder, placing an Intruder. Let's join Intruders. Let's see if the bullets pass through and if we can get up the ramp. First step is the ramp. Can we get up the ramp? Yes, we can. No hiccups. Works great. No problem. Let's see what happens when we shoot. Oh, baby. Okay, that looks pretty good. Yeah, this is going to be a little loud. How are we looking? Okay. Bullets are on the stairs. Oh my god, it works. Holy cow, it works. Oh my gosh, thank you guys. I think that last tip was thanks to Crimbopple for what he suggested. He says it's recommended you just use primitive cubes for those things. CSG isn't great at getting tagged. So it looks like the problem we had here was that these CSG elements, which are these orange boxes you can see here, that this house is mostly made out of, are not good at ignoring bullets. However, basic Unity 3D objects are, and that we use that for the ramp. Since it's invisible, it doesn't really matter if it's perfectly lined up or not. It'll still work. Even you see on the edges here, it's, oh, wait a minute. Oh, stairs are a little bugged there. Okay, maybe we want to make it a little thicker. There could be an issue there. Okay, so stairs are a little bugged. Let's quickly solve that. Exit to main. Let's have a look at that object here. So take our selector tool out. Where is our object? It is in mesh render. Oh, right. We had this invisible. No, this is, we need component F3. We need to get rid of this. That's probably the problem. Let's get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. Are stairs bugged on this side or is it fine? I'm not sure, but we need to find, where's this ramp? Hold on. Cube. There we go. This guy. I think the problem here is we might be getting like hooked up on these holes here. Let's try to take off real-time at CSG. Let's try to extend this a little bit. Can we? Nope, that's not the way to do it. Can we go down? Nope, also not the way to do it. Let's turn on mesh render so we can see what's going on. We're going to scale instead. We'll just scale, make it this a little thicker. Make this a little thicker, and then we're going to move it down. And hopefully that gets rid of the bug of us kind of like getting clipped up on the stairs there. That looks pretty good. Not perfect, but collision on stairs should not be so much of an issue. We could actually scale just a little bit more. Game object component. Nope, scale. Scale, where are you? Scale just a tiny bit more. It's almost a little too much, but it's a little lip there, but it's okay. This should work. Now we'll just turn off mesh render. Save, go back in Intruder, play scene in Intruder, and let's see how this plays out. That should prevent any bugs or getting like stuck on the stairs there if we move into the stairs. Because the ramp is covering most of the stairs, so there shouldn't be any weird geometry, ideally, if we touch the side here. Kind of. But not really. It kind of slows down. But that's kind of like when you move into a wall anyway. Do you get stuck? Nope. I think it works. We can go up the ramp. Let's test this out. Bullets are not even visible. Yeah, there's some bullets right there. Okay, it works. We did it. We got it done. Thanks, guys. Crimbopple, Brought Turtle, and who else was it? It was Madman Epic. You guys helped us solve the stair problem, and now we know how to properly do stairs. Fantastic. That is a big win. Okay, guys, I think this is a great place to leave it off today. We learned how to make windows. We learned how to do hack nodes and also capture points. We are pretty much good to get making our first map. We know grid snapping now too. So I think hopefully tomorrow's episode we'll be starting to make our first map. Our playground is in good shape. This was fun. Thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Zen out.